Hey everyone, I'm Polo back with some more things. Today we're going to do a quick little video that I've made like 10 times over at this point, but because it's the most common thing I get asked on stream and stuff, I like to re-update it every like 6 months. So today we're going to talk about Kindred marks again. So just going to go through a little process of elimination, try to explain to you guys how they work and whatnot. At the bottom left, you can see the tier list for where your marks can spawn based on how many marks you have. So that should be very useful information. I suggest paying attention to that and learning that and memorizing it essentially. But to get into the video, so the way Kindred marks work is they work in tiers. Based on how many marks you have depends on where the enemy mark, or where, not the enemy mark, excuse me, your mark can spawn in the enemy jungle. It does not spawn in your jungle. Your marks will never spawn in your own jungle. That's the thing. The closest they can spawn to you is dragons and scuttle crabs. They cannot spawn in your own jungle. Because I have no marks, once the clock here hits 3:15 when I speed it up, it'll be on one of the 2 scuttle crabs. It has to be there. There's nowhere else it can spawn because I don't have any marks yet. So now that I fast forward here, it is now going to spawn on either the top side or the bot side crab. It spawns bot side crab. Okay. So now that we know that, let's kill the bot side crab. And I now have 1 mark, which because I now have 1 mark, it means that the mark has to spawn either on this scuttle crab or on the enemy raptors or the enemy gromp. There's occasionally a bug where the level 1 gromp won't mark for whatever reason. It's been a thing for a long time, and as far as I know, it's never been patched. But as you can see, I just killed the second crab and I'm killing the gromp. So because the only things that can mark are scuttle crabs, the enemy gromp, and the enemy raptors, that means after the delay, this camp here has to mark because there's nowhere else that it can mark. Because the gromp is dead, so that's not available to be marked. Because the scuttle crab is dead, there's nowhere else that's available to be marked. So after a 45-second delay of me killing the last mark, this mark right here has to be it. There's nowhere else it can go. And it's pretty much just how it works. Like if I were to fast forward this a little bit, you'll see the mark is going to spawn here in a second. I'll just let it pick out. Yep, there we go. Oh, there's the mark. Now, if I were to fast forward game time again, I believe the gromp should spawn before the scuttle crab. It might not because of the they spawn very close together when you do it like this in practice too. I believe the gromp should respawn first. They're both going to spawn at like the same time, but I believe the gromp spawns a second sooner, and it should mark. And yep, there's the mark on the gromp, because it spawned right before the scuttle crab did, so there was nowhere else for it to mark. And now the same thing over, if I fast forward, wait a 45-second delay, now it has to spawn on the scuttle crab because the chickens are dead, and the gromp is dead, so it has to spawn here. Oh, the chickens respawn, sorry. The chickens respawn. Now I can kill this then, and then I can show you one more time. Kill this, and I did not realize the chickens were respawning that quickly. But now, now that I have 4 marks, I can actually show you guys an example really quick. So, because I have 4 marks, if I kill this red buff, and then I come up here and kill the big Krug because only the big monster matters, and then I were to kill the blue buff, now the only thing on the map that can be marked is the wolves. So if I fast forward, the wolves have to mark here soon. Yep, there's the wolf mark. So that's the way it works. And once you get to 4 marks, it's a lot easier too to track this because obviously the buffs have a much longer respawn time than normal camps. So now, like, if I were to go top lane, finish killing this mini Krug, fast forward time, till the wolves respawn, it has to be on the wolves again because obviously the wolves are going to respawn before the Krugs, just simply because the baby Krug was the only one, or was alive, and the big wolf wasn't. Now there you go, there's the wolves respawning. Then kill this, and so on. It's pretty much, it's that simple. When you know what's alive and what's not, you can always know where your mark's going to spawn. It has to spawn that way. And yeah, only other little tip I have for marks is essentially for your marks on your bar here, you can change your mark with Shift F1 through F5. F1 is whoever's on the left, F5 is whoever's on the right, F3 would be middle. So obviously that's the way it goes. It's very convenient because as long as this right here isn't on cooldown, you can change your marks to any champion on the bar, even if the bar is invisible while you're in combat. So say you're attacking an enemy champion and this bar disappears, you can just hit Shift F2 as long as this isn't on cooldown and mark whoever, you know, is on the F2 portion of the bar there. It's a very convenient, very useful thing. I very much recommend getting used to doing it because it's very, very, very useful. Alright, now before I end the video though, I'm going to give you guys just a few more little tips, and these are wall hops just because I figure a lot of people should probably know these wall hops. Simple wall hop, for one, this is probably the hardest wall hop that took me the longest to learn. If you stand right here in this like area where you can't walk any closer even if you're clicking, then you put your mouse right here on this bottom little line of this this ruin right here, and put it right in the middle, and Q, you will get over the wall pretty much 100% of the time. It can be very useful if you get into a fight over here and you have to ult, or you're just trying to do a quick getaway and you don't even want to ult, and if you can line yourself up and have enough HP, you can do that. The reverse side's a little bit more finicky, but it's still relatively easy. You put your mouse roughly around right here on the tree trunk and Q while you're standing in that crack, and you get over the wall in the reverse. Red wall hop is also very simple. You just go to the point where you're getting into the tree right here, put your mouse right here on this crack in the trees, and then Q, and you're over. This one is also, this reverse side is not the hardest. You kind of have to stand right here in between this moss right here, this mossy part of the tree, and put your mouse right here on this crack of the rock. Once your mouse is there, you Q, and you'll also get over the wall reverse. It's not the hardest. It's also not the easiest though, because it's a lot easier when you can see where you want to click on this side, but you can't see that because of the way the map works. So yeah, reverse wall jump for red over here as well. This side is also very simple. You see this tall blade of grass right there in the middle, the tallest blade. You want to click on the tallest blade. When you click on the tallest blade, you then want to put your mouse over here on the right side of this tombstone, Q, and because your mouse is on the right side of the tombstone, you're over the wall. Very, very simple. Not super hard. The reverse of that one is you put your mouse roughly right here on the crack. Like if you move over, you can see it, and then you put your mouse right here. Line your mouse up with the edge of this rock and Q, and you'll get over the wall reverse there as well. And then the only other wall jump that I'm going to spend the time to show you guys is just this one, which again, similar to the other side. You put your mouse over here, you put it on the side of the tombstone, Q, and you're over the wall as long as your mouse is on the right part of the tombstone. Then just come over here, get in between the tree and the flowers right there. Put your mouse right here on this very dark, hard part to see of the tree. When you put your mouse on this leaf right here and Q, you'll get over the wall, easy peasy, not hard to do whatsoever. It's very simple wall jumps that they look hard, but I promise you, once you practice them a few times, you can do them 100% of the time, or at least 90% of the time, without much struggle. They're very, very simple to do. They look a lot harder than they tend to really be. So yeah, just recommend that. I think that's pretty much it for the new player tips that I'm going to include in this. Obviously, like I said, I know I've done this video a few times, but if you enjoyed it, or anything like that, or you have a build or anything you also want me to try, let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but yeah. Actually, there is one more thing I'll show you, which is just a really useless mechanic that nobody's ever going to use, which is the zero vector animation cancel, which is, if you come over here and then you unlock your camera, click in one spot, do not move your mouse, and then attack move, and then if you Q, you'll skip the entire Q animation while standing in place and get a little bit of DPS off a little bit faster, and it's entirely useless and only useful on like the Herald. So yeah, completely worthless mechanic. Hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye!